My name is Valentina Mercer. I'm 32, and yes, those Mercers. Old Seattle money. A family of foundations, facades, and control. While my brother Elias inherited the family name like a crown, I inherited silence. I was the afterthought in a house of headlines, the obedient one, the forgettable one, until I wasn't. I always knew I didn't belong in their narrative. But I stayed, hoping love would make them see me. Dominic was supposed to be that proof. Our engagement was my one chance to rewrite the script. But then he stood up mid-toast at a table full of family and cameras and said 8 words that detonated everything. The wedding is off. I don't love you anymore. And the worst part? He planned the entire scene and recorded it. The cascade of wine glasses hitting porcelain didn't even echo. The silence from the guests did that work. 60 faces frozen. Forks midair. I didn't move. Dominic didn't sit down. I can't lie to you anymore, Valen. Or to them. He turned to the crowd like he was accepting a damn award. It's not fair to either of us. Someone behind me gasped. Rhea, maybe. I couldn't tell. Everything slowed. The projector behind him flickered. I hadn't noticed it before. A faint whirring and then... footage. Me. Crying. Me. Screaming. Me. Shaking on the floor. Over and over in sequence. Quick cuts. No sound. No context. Just collapse. I blinked once. Then again. That footage was private. My therapist's office. My old apartment. One was in my bedroom. My bedroom. No one had access to that. Dominic kept speaking, his voice butter smooth, crafted like his press releases. Valen has been through a lot. You've seen it. I've tried. But this isn't something I can fix. He was rehearsed. This wasn't heartbreak. It was strategy. Elias stood near the edge of the table, arms crossed, unblinking, not surprised. I met his eyes. He looked away. There's always a moment, my mother used to say, where the mask slips and you have to choose whether to watch or run. I didn't run. I stood, walked to the projector, unplugged it, turned to the crowd. Thank you for coming, I said, voice level. Sorry the entertainment started early. No one laughed. Dominic, I added, stepping beside him. Next time you stage a breakup, make sure the camera angles aren't illegal. He froze. That half-second flicker in his expression. That was my opening. I leaned closer, whispered so only he could hear. You're not the only one who knows how to edit. His jaw twitched. I walked out. Outside, the cold Seattle air hit like a punch. I didn't cry. I didn't flinch. But I wasn't alone. Someone was following. Boots. Sharp. Precise. Behind me. I turned a corner fast. Slipped into the valet lane. No time to think. I grabbed the first car I saw with keys left in ignition. A silver Lexus. I slid in. Started the engine. Peeled off. My hands shook only once. When I reached the corner and hit the brakes too hard. That footage. That projection. Those files, they were compiled. Cut. Stitched. From multiple angles. From cameras I never knew existed. You can't get footage like that unless someone's been recording for months. Unless they've been inside every room you think is safe. That wasn't just a breakup. That was a launch. And if I knew Dominic, and I did, that video wasn't the only one. He'd planned this like a campaign. He always said, control the story, and you never have to apologize for the ending. I didn't have his polish. But I had something better. Footage he didn't know I kept. If he wants to play with video, he has no idea what I'm capable of showing the world. The first thing I did when I got home? Tore every damn photo of us off the walls. Not because I was angry. Not even because I was hurt. Because I knew he'd be watching. You don't go from, I love you, to cinematic assassination in one night unless you've rehearsed the scene 100 times behind the curtain. Which meant this apartment, our apartment, was likely another stage. And I wasn't playing dumb anymore. The bedroom smelled like fresh linen and threat. I left the door half open, turned on every light. One by one, I checked under the dresser, behind bookshelves, the vents. Nothing obvious, but it was never obvious, was it? The soft click behind my closet panel told me where to look. A pinhole lens, embedded behind a row of winter coats. Not wireless, wired. That meant local access. Someone physically installed this. And they'd need to come back for the footage. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. One text. I'm sorry. I didn't know what he was planning. Ria. I stared at it, heart ticking like a metronome on edge. Then another message came in. Meet me at the studio. Come alone. Bring everything. Cut to an alley behind Pioneer Square. Wet asphalt. Neon sign half lit above an old editing suite. Ria Saunders wasn't just a friend. She was an ex-journalist who'd gone rogue after a bad story nearly killed her career. We bonded over secrets, the unprintable kind. She opened the back door before I knocked. You shouldn't have come, she hissed. You have no idea what you just kicked up. I don't care. He crossed the line. He didn't cross it, she said. He built it. Inside, screens flickered with raw footage from old shoots. Ria moved fast, shutting blinds, unplugging Wi-Fi, switching to air-gapped laptops. I pulled out the USB from my purse. This is the drive from our old Voices of Women project. Remember? We shot the raw interviews on mini DV, then backed them up. She plugged it in. Footage loaded. My voice. My face. Me saying, I'm okay today, I think. She clicked through timestamps, then stopped. Wait, she muttered. This audio was spliced. What do you mean? It's you. But the voice track's been chopped and looped. These aren't the same recordings I made. You still have the master tapes. She nodded slowly. Buried. Vault storage. Physical tapes. No cloud. We stared at the screen. The date stamp on one clip said, May 11th, 2:32 a.m. Except I was out of town that weekend. This was never about ending a relationship, I said. It was about erasing me in public. Scene cut, my bank account. Frozen. Transaction locked. Credit red flagged. Family trust? Reassigned under Emergency Mental Health Protection Clause. I dialed my father. Voicemail. I dialed Elias. He picked up. Elias, did you authorize the lock on my accounts? A pause. Then, Valen, you need rest. I need answers. You embarrassed the family. He projected fake footage of me at a public event. You looked unstable. You helped him, didn't you? He didn't deny it. Mercer's protect legacy, Valentina. You stopped being one of us the minute you aired yours. I slammed the phone down so hard the screen spiderwebbed. Ria didn't flinch. She'd already printed out freeze frames from the video. Overlays. Voice shifts. Light changes. There, she pointed. See that glitch? That second frame, the shadows jump. That's a splice. Enough to prove editing. Enough to prove tampering. At midnight, we drove 3 hours to a bank in Tacoma. She kept an old safety deposit box under her mother's name. Inside, 2 mini DV tapes. One labeled Mercer Interview, Original A. The other, Dominic, Rough Cut. Do not use. Ria blinked. That's not mine. We plugged the second tape into a camcorder. The battery was nearly dead. The screen crackled to life. Dominic, alone, in his office, practicing lines, saying, Valentina, I tried, but you're unwell. Then again, and again, like an actor prepping for a performance. That's what this is, I said. A performance. No, Ria whispered. It's a campaign. I looked at her. What if you weren't the only one? We loaded both tapes into her editor suite. Offline system. No network. She backed everything up on a cold drive. Then she paused. Wait, Did you hear that? I froze. Footsteps. Too light for cops. Too heavy for kids. They stopped outside the studio door, motionless, then walked away. She walked to the window, peeked through a corner. A black SUV idling across the street. Unmarked. No driver. No lights. Not your average paparazzi, she said. That's not paparazzi, I said. Ria handed me the cold drive. Hide it. Not here. Not home. Somewhere no one would guess. And the tapes. I've got them. Go. Outside, I slipped into the shadows. Down the alley. Across 3 blocks. Entered a 24-hour diner through the back. Ordered tea I wouldn't drink. From the corner booth, I watched the SUV drive past. Slow. Deliberate. Like it knew what it left behind. The video was his move. This card, it's mine. Rain hit the windshield in sharp, rhythmic bursts. I didn't blink. Didn't breathe much either. The cold drive was in my pocket. My heart, somewhere between my throat and the gas pedal. They say when someone tries to bury you, what they forget is you're already roots. And I was done pretending I was part of a tree that kept pruning me. I parked outside Devin Nolan's apartment, 4th floor, former encryption contractor, quiet type, the kind of guy who could open a vault with a flash drive and a prayer. He owed me a favor. I buzzed twice. Door opened 2 seconds later. Val. Jesus. He stepped back. You look like you've been through a war. It's not over. I handed him the cold drive. I need you to clone it. Secure it. Air-gapped. He nodded, no questions. Done. And run metadata, especially file creation times, hidden tags, encryption patterns. His brows lifted. What exactly is this? A campaign, with me as the poster girl. Cut scene. Devin's screen glowed white-blue. He typed fast. Lines of code danced. Okay, this file, Dominic's confession rehearsal, was edited 3 days before your engagement was even public. I stiffened. He planned the exit before the entrance. And this one, he said, pointing at a video. I leaned in. New footage. Not mine. A different woman. Blonde. Shaky hands. Crying on a bathroom floor. Label. Lillian C.2.finalcut.mp4. Not public. Not shared. Who is she? Devin asked. I don't know. I looked at the drive again. New folders. Hidden directories. Dozens of them. Each labeled with a name. Each with curated breakdowns. Fake therapy sessions. Private moments. Some staged. Others secretly recorded. All women. All victims. It's not just me, I whispered. They've done this before. The room felt colder. Devin frowned. Hold on. This IP address here, it pinged Mercer HQ. But the upload went through AMC first. AMC. Archival Media Corporation. They handled digital asset sales for studios, influencers, politicians. He clicked through. A masked invoice appeared. Dominic Mercer, AMC license 00398. File. Valentina M. Episode 1v1. Purchase interest. Pending. He tried to sell me. My silence. My breakdown. My face. As content. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. A voice disguised. Synthesized. If you release anything, the rest comes out. You think your version of the story matters? The public loves a scandal, not the truth. Click. I stared at the screen. Cowards hide behind edits, I said under my breath. I don't. Cut to public ballroom. For seasons. Downtown Seattle. A gala Dominic was speaking at. I remembered because I RSVP'd before he broke me on camera. That event was now his platform. But tonight it would be mine. I called Ria. I need a live stream rig. On site. Covert. She didn't hesitate. What are we burning down? Everything. Inside the ballroom, lights glittered off champagne flutes. Dominic took the stage in a midnight suit. I've always believed in resilience, he began, in rising above the noise. Rhea tapped her phone from the far corner. Feed loaded. I gave the signal. Behind him, the screen flickered. Glitched. Then lit up. Dominic's private footage. His confession rehearsals. Spliced with cuts of him coaching me through fake anxiety attacks. Coaching others. The crowd gasped. Whispers. He turned. Saw his own face betray him. He lunged toward the tech booth. Security swarmed. Rhea whispered in my earpiece, cut the feed. We got enough. We vanished. Into the service elevator. Lights flickering. 30 minutes later, we sat in my car, breathing smoke and adrenaline. Then, a red notification. The live stream was intercepted. Only 13 seconds went public. The rest? Cut. Scrambled. A traceback tag appeared. One word. Foundation. Rhea's voice was flat. The Mercer Foundation owns AMC. A slow burn started in my chest. They didn't just want to ruin me. They built a business out of it. Rhea's studio door hung open. Wrong angle. Wrong silence. Inside it smelled like ozone and burned plastic. Monitors smashed. Drawers pulled out and dumped. A tripod snapped clean in half, like someone had lost patience halfway through the job. They came for the footage, I said. Rhea didn't answer. She crouched, fingers hovering over the floor, tracing a faint scuff mark that led to the server rack. They didn't take everything, she said. They copied it. My stomach tightened. Cloning takes time. You don't clone unless you plan to watch what comes next. Cut scene. Parking garage. Level B3. Concrete sweating. Rhea slid into the driver's seat. I checked the rear view. Headlights blinked once, then vanished. I think someone's feeding them our moves, she said. Elias, I said. It came out flat. Family is just a system you're born into. When it turns on you, it knows exactly where to cut. I didn't go home. I went to the Mercer Foundation. Glass and steel. A cathedral to benevolence. Donors' names etched in stone like absolution. Elias met me in the lobby. Calm. Polished. He'd always been good at calm. You shouldn't be here, he said. I shouldn't have been filmed in my own bedroom either. His smile thinned. You're spiraling, Valen. Funny, I said. That's exactly how your video wanted me to look. He stepped closer. You think this is about you? I held his gaze. I think you leak. I think you route data through AMC. I think you sold my life as a pilot. He laughed once. Short. Sharp. You always wanted meaning where there wasn't any. That's a lie people tell when the truth is expensive. He leaned in. The Mercers clean up messes. You are the mess. I walked away before I broke something I couldn't put back. Cut scene. Storage facility, south of the city. Rows of metal doors. Cameras on every aisle. Legit. Rhea had leased a unit months ago under an LLC. Paper clean. Rent current. We rolled the cart down the aisle. Door 317. Inside, flight cases. Drives. A portable switch. A burner laptop. Rhea nodded. Decoys ready. We copied the most obvious files onto a drive, seeded it with metadata that screamed final backup, then planted a breadcrumb trail, an email header that would point Dominic straight here. Distraction, Rhea said. Reveal later, I said. People forget the simplest rule of the hunt. If you want someone to move, give them something to steal. Night fell hard. I watched from the catwalk as two men entered the aisle. Black jackets. No uniforms. One checked the camera. The other went straight to 317. They moved fast. Professional. They took the decoy and left. I exhaled. Rhea's phone vibrated. A single line of text popped up from a blocked number. Got it. They took the bait, she whispered. Good, said. Now we follow the hands. Cut scene. Back at the studio. What was left of it? Devin joined us, face pale under fluorescent light. They're intercepting our traffic, he said. Even offline transfers. Someone inside the backbone. Foundation, Rhea said. Devin nodded. And AMC's escrow accounts just shifted. A license moved from pending to live. My chest burned. They're releasing something. He pulled up the registry. Title loaded. Valentinum, Season 1. Season, I said. That's what they call a life now. Rhea closed her eyes. This isn't about scandal. It's manufacturing consent. I remembered something Dominic once said over wine, like it was wisdom. People don't need truth. They need a story they can repeat. We moved fast. Mandatory reports first. Police. Cybercrime. Chain of custody. I signed until my hand cramped. You don't win by skipping steps. You win by making them unavoidable. Then the press. Not a blast. A drip. One editor. One document. One timestamp that proved tampering. Phone started buzzing. Outside, a siren wailed. Inside, my pulse matched it. The ballroom lit up again on the news. Dominic's face controlled, regretful, rehearsed. He spoke about context and concern. About protecting women. I laughed. It came out sharp. Rhea watched the screen. He's not nervous. He thinks he's early, I said. Early always looks like confident. Devin tapped his keyboard. Incoming. The decoy drive pinged. Accessed. Opened. Copied. And there, Devin said softly. Handshake. The screen filled with logs. A path. Clean. Traceable. From the storage unit. To AMC. To a shell. To a foundation account. My family's crest flickered in the corner of the screen. I felt the old ache. Being small in a big room, told to be grateful for air. Not tonight. I thought of a line I used to repeat to myself when I felt erased. If they keep rewriting you, stop letting them hold the pen. Rhea looked at me. Once we pull this thread, there's no unseeing it. I nodded. They didn't just try to destroy my reputation. The screen refreshed. Names populated. More than I expected. Women. Dozens. They built a business on breaking women like me. The building didn't exist on any public map. No sign. No directory. Just a service entrance tucked behind Mercer Foundation's glass spine, where delivery trucks idled and men in neutral jackets didn't make eye contact. Security rotates every 9 minutes, Devin said through my earpiece. After that, the cameras loop. Rhea glanced at me. 9 minutes is a lifetime, or a coffin. Then we move like ghosts, I said, and we don't look back. Cut scene. Stairwell. Concrete. Fluorescent hum. We went down fast. 1 flight. 2. 3. The air changed at level -2, cooler, drier. The kind of air meant for machines, not people. Rhea swiped a badge. Green light. Door slid open. Rows of server racks stretched into darkness. Blue LEDs pulsed like a heartbeat. On the far wall, labels. Not numbers. Names. Initials mostly. First name, last initial. Dates. Versions. I swallowed. This is an archive, Devin whispered. Not storage. Curation. They hadn't just filmed us. They'd cataloged us. I moved down the aisle, fingers grazing metal. Each rack hummed with quiet menace. A screen blinked to life. Valentinum. Status. Active. Below it, a queue. Release window. 48 hours. My chest tightened. They're not done, I said. They're escalating. Of course they are, Rhea replied softly. People who profit from silence never stop at one voice. She stepped ahead of me, hands steady, eyes too calm. That's when I noticed it. She knew where to go. Not guessing, not scanning. Heading straight for a locked cabinet at the back. Rhea, I said, How do you know? She stopped, turned. The lights caught her face, just right. Not fear, not surprise, resignation. I was hoping we wouldn't get here like this, she said. The cabinet opened with her code. Inside, a single drive. Black. Unmarked. She held it like something fragile. I wasn't always behind the camera, she said. Once I was in front of it. My pulse spiked. Years ago, she continued, voice even, I was pitching a series. Investigative. Powerful men. Digital manipulation. I trusted the wrong sponsor. The word sponsor landed wrong. Mercer, I said. She nodded. They filmed me. Pushed me. Cut me into something unrecognizable. Then buried the story. Buried me. I stared at the racks. At the names. You stayed, I said. You helped them. I survived, she said quietly. And then I watched. And I waited. There's a saying about revenge being patient. Another about truth being louder when whispered at the right moment. Rhea met my eyes. You were the first one who fought back in public. Footsteps echoed. Fast. Too many. Cut scene. Alarms. Red lights strobing. Security breach, Devon barked. They're locking down. Doors slammed at the far end. Boots pounded concrete. Rhea shoved the drive into my hands. This is the master index. Everything they've ever recorded. Every edit. Every payoff. What about you? I asked. She smiled once. I already paid. A guard rounded the corner. Then another. Run, she said. I didn't argue. Cut scene. Service corridor. Narrow. Pipes overhead. I ran. Breath tearing. Shoes slipping. A hand grabbed my arm. I spun. Elias. He slammed me against the wall. Forearm at my throat. Give it to me, he hissed. You don't understand what you're holding. I understand perfectly, I choked. A library of ruined women. He tightened his grip. This keeps the foundation alive. That's the problem. Rhea appeared behind him. She pulled a lever. The floor beneath Elias dropped. He vanished with a shout, crashing into a padded containment pit below. Not dead. Not yet. Alarms screamed louder. Rhea grabbed my arm. Tunnel. Now. Cut scene. Underground tunnel. Old utility line. Damp. Dark. We ran until our lungs burned. Behind us, voices echoed, then faded. We emerged into night air near the waterfront, gasping. Sirens wailed in the distance. I turned to Rhea. You could have told me. She shook her head. You wouldn't have trusted me. Maybe not, I said, but you didn't run. She met my gaze. Neither did you. Cut scene. Safe house. No windows. White walls. Generator hum. Devin connected the drive. Files populated the screen. Dozens of folders. Hundreds of hours. Dates spanning years. Names I recognized from headlines that never quite made sense. Careers that ended overnight. Women labeled unstable. Difficult. Unreliable. This isn't blackmail, Devin said. It's manufacturing disappearance. My hands shook, then steadied. I remembered something Dominic once sneered at me during an argument, like it was advice. Power doesn't need to be loved. It just needs to be believed. I leaned forward. Then we stopped them from being believed. Rhea nodded. We don't leak. We broadcast. And we don't tell one story, I added. We tell all of them. Devin's fingers hovered over the keys. Once this goes live, there's no putting it back. Good, said. They've been editing endings long enough. On the screen, a progress bar loaded. The library was real, and we were about to open it to the world. The ballroom was colder than I remembered. Marble beneath my heels. A chandelier that didn't glitter like it used to. The scent of expensive cologne and veiled corruption hung in the air like fog. This was the same ballroom Dominic had announced our wedding cancellation in. Now, it would be the site of something far bigger. Not a breakup. A broadcast. Stage left. Camera set. Mic hot, Devin whispered through the earpiece. 3 minutes till the feed goes live. I stood center stage. No flowers. No string quartet. No whispered congratulations. Just the truth. And thousands watching. Cut scene. Behind me, a giant screen. On it, faces. Dozens. Then hundreds. Women. Some well-known. Others blurred by time. Their files. Their video edits. Their before and after stories. Carefully curated ruin. A timeline began to roll. Years of manipulation, data laundering, reputational warfare. Names scrolled like credits of a horror film with no director. Just power. Footsteps. Nolan entered from the back. AMC security flanked him. But he wasn't handcuffed. He was smirking. You really think exposure hurts men like me? His voice echoed. We're made of secrets. We don't bleed, we absorb. I kept my voice even. That's because no one's ever forced you to face the people you erased. He stepped closer. I could have made you a queen, he said, but you chose to become a martyr. I tilted my head. Martyrs die, I said. I'm very much alive. And then I stepped aside. Cut scene. The screen behind me split. Ria's footage played. Not mine. His. Private meetings. Secret board votes. Recorded threats. Contracts exchanged in backrooms. Asset transfers. Wire fraud. Every whisper caught on audio. Nolan's face drained. A second screen lit up. Live view. FBI agents entering Mercer's corporate tower. More agents arresting Dominic at his private club. A judge reviewing sealed records. AMC's legal team frozen. Their emails leaked in real time. History doesn't erase itself, I said into the mic. It's erased by men who think silence is cheaper than justice. But silence ends now. I nodded to Devin. He hit send. The files were uploaded to every major news outlet. The foundation fell in seconds. Cut scene. 3 days later. A coffee shop in Crown Heights. Quiet. Safe. The sun slanted through dusty windows. Ria sipped tea, face pale but relaxed. The fallout's just beginning. Devin scrolled headlines. 3 resignations. 2 arrests. For subpoenas. AMC froze assets. That's a good Monday. I didn't smile. Instead, I looked at the woman across from me. Me. A woman who was told she was too much, too soft, too naive, and who outplayed all of them. You think it's over? Ria asked. I shook my head. Stories like ours never really end. They echo. There was a pause. Then I said, but they'll think twice before they hit record again. Cut scene. 6 months later. A lecture hall. Hundreds of women. Some wore pins, silver cameras crossed out. Others carried nothing but notebooks and sharp eyes. My keynote address was short. I stood in a room meant to destroy me, and I turned it into a stage. Pause. Your voice is a weapon when truth is ammunition. The crowd stood. Not applause. A silent vow. I walked off stage and down the corridor. Alone for once. No spotlight. Just the thrum of life returning. I thought of something my mother once said when I was 13, curled up in the laundry room after my brother's insults. Don't let people shrink you to fit their guilt. Now I wore no shame. I carried no guilt that wasn't mine. And I left behind the girl who thought survival meant silence. Because survival isn't the goal. It's the beginning. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't running anymore.